Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om Shri 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 Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Jai Rama, Jai Jai Rama Om. Shri Rama 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 Jai Rama, Jai Jai Rama Om. Rama Jai Rama, Jai Jai Rama Om. Shri 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 Rama Jai Jai Rama Om. Shri Rama Jai Rama, Jai Jai Rama Om. Shri Rama Jai Rama, Jai Jai Rama Om Shri Rama Jai Rama Jai Jai Rama Om
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om 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 Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om to everybody. Pranam. Pranam. Yesterday, during our satsang, somebody raised what could be the common topic which affects us at the same time which is expressed in Gita. So the attachment word. Have anybody done any research? How many times it has come in the Bhagavad Gita? What exactly it means? Anything? Any particular stanza which talks about attachment when it is understood through our own experience? All of us have to do some homework, otherwise what is the use? Okay. But before that, anyway, in chapter number 2, 62 and 63, it may be academical. We may not be able to understand it, but let us try to understand it through our own experience. Dhyāyato viṣhayān puṁsaḥ saṅgas teṣhūpajāyate saṅgāt sañjāyate kāmaḥ kāmāt krodho bhijāyate krodhād bhavati sammohaḥ sammohāt smṛiti-vibhramaḥ smṛiti-bhranśhād buddhi-nāśho buddhi-nāśhāt praṇaśhyati. Thinking of sense objects, attachment to them is formed. From attachment rises desires to possess, and from longing, anger emerges. From anger comes delusion. From delusion, loss of memory. From loss of memory comes the ruin of the discriminative power. And from the ruin of discrimination, the person perishes. This is the sloga meaning. How do we fall down in life? Suppose you visit a prison, you find a young person there who has been arrested and put into the prison. What had the person done? He or she stole something from a shop. That's all. Now study how the person developed this tendency to steal. How he or she finally landed up in the jail. You will find these verses giving the answer. Dhyāyato viṣhayān puṁsaḥ. When you go on thinking over and over again about the sensory objects and finding them very attractive, then what happens? Saṅgas teṣhūpajāyate. The mind develops an attachment for them. I like it. First, I am only seeing it, then I have already got glued to it, attached to it. Then what happens? I must possess it. Kāmaḥ. That desire begins to come through that attachment. So first observing a thing, dwelling on it for a long time, then drawn by it, then the desire to possess it. And if people obstruct it, anger will come from desire. If anybody obstructs my getting it, then delusion comes. You forget your surrounding, forget your own individuality, your family background, everything is forgotten in that state. That is why in psychology it is said, an angry man or woman is mad at the time of his or her anger. Temporary madness is called anger. You lose all bearing at that time. Then what happens? From that anger you develop delusion. You have no clear thinking after that. Everything is confused. That is the nature of the mind at that time. Can't see what is that. Then, through sammoha, you lose your memory. Who are you? What are you? What is your background? That you are coming from a good family, all that is forgotten. And so you are now ready to do the evil act at that time. All weakening has taken place. Just like when the body is weakened by various diseases, then it can invite all the toxins from outside. It invites them and the body becomes full of evil. Similarly also the mind. So this way we finally go down. When the smriti goes away, memory goes away, memory of our environment, our identity, then that discriminative faculty, that reason, buddhi-nāśho, which alone can tell you what to do and what not to do, completely goes away. Then buddhi-nāśhāt praṇaśhyati, you just perish from the buddhi-nāśho. The step by step we go down. We must know this nature of the mind. Then we can fight against it, build up a more healthy, stable personality. So these two verses tell how even good people do evil things and suffer various maladies thereafter. In the newspapers I often used to read while traveling abroad of thefts in super bazaars. In many countries, in India also we started them now. You can just go in, pick up something, bring it to the counter, pay for it, go away. Some people also steal in super bazaars. Somebody enters, a decent person, sometimes a diplomat's relative, who finds something very attractive, quietly puts it in his or her own bag. Sometimes they are caught, and then you can imagine the sorrow for the loss of that high status. All such situations are revealed by these few slokas. It is good to know these evil possibilities so that we take adequate precaution, strengthen our discriminative faculty, never allowed to be eroded by the energy coming from the sensory system. The sensory system should be controlled by the buddhi. Buddhi should not be controlled by the sensory system. A charioteer should not be controlled by the horses. Horses must be controlled by the chariot. That is the language of the Upanishads and the Gita. So after these two verses, you get that word which I referred, which is, but the self-controlled person, moving among sense objects, ragadvesha viyuktaistu, viṣhayān indriyaischaran, atmavaishyir vidheyatma, prasadam adhigacchati. But the self-controlled person, moving among sense objects, with the senses under restraint and free from attraction and aversion, attains to tranquility. So we have to watch ourselves vigilant, When my mind sits on a particular object for a long time, naturally I develop an affinity towards it. The attachment slowly wells up. That is why when one is prompted to take to the spiritual life on a full-time basis, he imposes on him so many disciplines. So that even if the sense organs tempts us to follow the vradas, it will immediately put a stop there. First of all, we are not supposed to look at a particular object intently. If we are blessed to place our mind on a higher ideal, and suppose he blesses us to constantly think about that ideal, our sense organs will not run hither and thither. So attachment, one way could be this. Another way is that we have not brought anything into this world. So nothing is mine. And we have attended various funerals, cremations, burials. We have seen with our own eyes that nobody takes anything with them. So instead of attending it as a social obligation, suppose we start seeing this reality, constantly we should think, not merely at that time. Then it might help us to get ourselves detached from everything. Slowly. When I came to this world, I did not bring anything. And when I leave this world, I cannot take anything. So in between, he makes us to look at, to hear, to touch, to taste, to smell. Just do that and we have to forget about it. Many people develop this habit, They will not ask anything, they will not ask for second service. If we go and put them, they will take it. But they have their own vows, they will not ask. If it has to come, the prompting will come to the person and give. Otherwise, okay, not necessary. Attachment. Now in the snake and ladder business, now we have seen how we fall. So when we closely observe certain things, thinking of sense objects, attachment to them is formed. Sense objects includes persons, situations. A spiritual aspirant has to be alert, vigilant, and keep on praying to him to free himself from those attachments. And அப்படி வந்தால் ரொம்ப நல்லது. அந்த பொருள் பகவான் தான் நினச்சா அது அட்டாச்மெண்ட் வராது, பகவான்கிட்ட தானே வரும். அப்படி அது ரொம்ப ரொம்ப அட்வான்ஸ்டு ஸ்டேஜ். வரணும் 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 எல்லாருக்கும் வரும். முயற்சி பண்ணிக்கிட்டே இருக்கணும். இப்போ நம்ம when we find joy in Ramnam, when we find joy in hearing the glories of the name, when we enjoy doing bhajans, when we enjoy hearing about Mahatmas, all these things will definitely help us. Satsang, closely associating with it. And while we are involved in various other activities, if what we hear from the Satsang waves, then slowly we will try. Even if there is an attachment towards a particular object, immediately we will be able to free ourselves from it. You look back to your own life, you will find you developed attachment to various objects at various levels. Only a few objects remain still attached. Rest of the things have gone, faded away. Think. That means higher priorities. When you shift your priorities to a higher one, attachment to the lower one gets automatically faded. Normally a person is impatient. But suppose he is fired with an idea to go to Guruvayur or Shabarimala or any place. There when he goes, there will be a lot of crowd. He will wait in the queue for hours together. And inch by inch, when he moves, and finally when he is before the sanctum sanctorum, he is hardly given time of half a minute or 5 seconds or 10 seconds, because the crowd is there, You move away. At that time, if you think, so many things are there. Why you are standing there? So the inherent capacity is there to withdraw from anything whenever we are charged with a higher ideal. There is no physical gain, tangible gain, excepting the mental satisfaction of having had the darshan of the deity. Think about it. So what does it mean? So people like us, if we associate ourselves with such activities, attraction for the ephemerals will get reduced. Contentment, if we develop, that will also reduce this attachment. Enough. Suppose somebody gives, we have enough, that feeling, not merely telling. Parimiti parigraham, limited possession. Suppose I like something and it is given to me more, the tendency to share it with others. That will ready. So these are some of the practical ways by which the onslaught or the attack of this attachment can be contained. Just walk around, look at the sky, look at the tree, look at the birds, look at the fruits. Remain detached. Associate our mind with such noble thoughts, biographical sketches. So the mind is always within that. It is not going out. So thinking of sense objects, attachment to them is formed. So thinking of sense objects, we cannot avoid, but we can reduce. Because we know that is the seed of the entire collapse, entire destruction of the individual. If it is not weaned, controlled properly, Lord gives us the step by step. We can't say step by step with the downward. dhyāyato viṣhayān puṁsaḥ saṅgas teṣhūpajāyate saṅgās sañjāyate kāmāt krodho bhijāyate krodhād bhavati sammohāt smṛiti-vibhramaḥ smṛiti-bhranśhād buddhi-nāśhāt praṇaśhyati. These two slogas are many a time when we fell, we can see, oh, how we, many things that is happening in and around us. It's also because of that. So from how do we fall down? The moment when you go on thinking over and over again about the sensory objects, finding them very attractive, then what happens? Mind develops an attachment for them. I like it. When this question is asked by anybody, what do you like? Actually, we should immediately think, everything is good only, how we don't have a particular likeness or dislike for anything. Because if I identify something which I like most, that means I am glued to it. What is offered is accepted cheerfully. This pariviti parigraha, that's also an important thing. Necessaries, basic necessaries, I should be satisfied with. Contentment, trust in everybody, care and concern for everybody, equal respect for the moving and non-moving. These are all some of the ways, charajaram. These are all some, we actually handle everything with a touch of love, touch of perfection, touch of dedication, touch of gratitude. This will all reduce the hold of attachment. Everything is God's, nothing is mine. Lord Krishna in the second chapter, listing various things, he brings it out. These two stanzas, every now and then suppose we read and look back to our own life, look back to our own failures, our slips, our lack of progress in spirituality, we will find that the mind is crowded with so many attachments for various things. Here when some swamis or some sadhus, when they come to room, suppose when we ask them, what else you require? Many people, when we give them some clothes, they say, we have got it. We can see that, no? They will be having only one extra, but they are content with that. No attachment to anything. Now that he is not here, we can tell him, you must have seen Joseph, We have been seeing him for the past 15, 20 years. We have to plan and give him, say, you need one more dhoti, one more shirt. Even then he will not accept, he will. Today he is here, tomorrow he will be in Himalayas. In all ashrams they will welcome him, but he will not stay there for more than 1 or 2 days. Because hero demand. Nothing will is asked by him. Nothing is asked, zero. He will be attending various programs in various places. The other day he was telling on a lighter vein, he was traveling without ticket. So he was in the upper berth, third class. So the ticket inspector came. So from there, he said like this. The ticket inspector went away. Looking at his beard and this, he did not ask the ticket. Because if suppose he is asked to get down, he will get down, that's all. Very difficult for everybody to practice that, but at least we have a model before us. So he teaches all these things, parimiti-parigraham, contentment, detachment in everything, not insisting this should be there, that should be there. Simple living, not simple living, simplest living, barest minimum. Zero demand. So attachment is the greatest hurdle for all of us, unknowingly, knowingly. Knowingly also we are under its grip. Unknowingly also we are under its grip. We may be feeling that we are free from attachment. As we said yesterday, not only to possessions or persons, attachment to power, status or position, name, every day. That's why we request everybody kindly go through these, which stanza you find gives you more explanation. Because something like this, when we keep on thinking about it, just like we get attachment to detachment, we try to bring before our mind persons who personify this. That is another way of training our mind to be always detached. He will be in the midst of everything, but nothing can entice him, nothing can attract him, nothing can overpower him, nothing can enslave him, nothing can possess him. When we start observing people who are trying to lead such a noble life, slowly we develop reverence for them, we develop love for them. The other day, last week somebody came, he was doing cycling from Cape Comorin to Himalayas. He finished that and now he is on his second round. All that he has, a very few parigrahas, that is tied in a small cardboard box on the back side of the cycle. So what he teaches us, he is fired with an ideal, okay, but so next day morning he has to go. So we told him, have your breakfast and go. Then immediately he said, I don't take breakfast because I am doing cycling, every now and then we cannot go to pass stools and urine. So there will be automatically, then we gave him some dry fruits or something. So when you are fired with a noble ideal, all this attachment to basic things, suddenly where will we have our breakfast, this and that. And minimum possession. 1 or 2 clothes, that's all, not more than that. You have to carry, So minimum. From all those people, now we know that Papa is parading, God is parading before us such noble people so that we can learn what is detachment, not from the book. From the book we get some idea, but when we look at them, we learn practically. It is not merely a theory, it is an applied science. It is not merely a theory, it is an applied theory. Ordinary people, they may not talk tall philosophies, leading simple life but not at all attached to anything. Loving. So this is a subject on which I think if we talk about it, it can take us for days, months together. But it's a very important point, because all of us, with all said and done, we may be doing Ramnam, we may be doing Bhajan, we are interested in righteous things, we promote righteous things as much as possible, we encourage, we revere people who are holding on to this truth. Everything is right, but still, if I question myself, am I free from attachment? Only that person can understand. Because now we know from the Bhagavad Gita, the second chapter, 62, 63 slokas, that how this attachment, though it looks innocent, but how it can end in our total fall. Dhyāyato viṣhayān puṁsaḥ saṅgas teṣhūpajāyate saṅgāt sañjāyate kāmaḥ krodhād bhijāyate krodhād bhavati sammohaḥ sammohāt smṛiti-vibhramaḥ smṛiti-bhranśhād buddhi-nāśho buddhi-nāśhāt praṇaśhyati. And in the 67 also, he says, Indriyanam hi charadam yenmanonadu vidhiyate tadasya haradi prajnam vayu gnāvam ivambasi. For the mind which follows in the wake of the wandering senses carries away his discrimination as a wind carries away a ship on the waters. The sense organs are being carried away by the sense objects, and the mind also follows in the wake of the sensory system toward the sensory object. Indriyanam hi charadam. When the mind does like that, what happens to the human being? Tadasya haradi prajnam. That destroys whatever little wisdom one has in one's life. What is the example? Like a ship being carried away by wind in the sea. That is the tragedy. All types of tragedy have this common characteristic of losing control and being overwhelmed by forces around you. Tragedy is beautiful when depicted on the stage. It is dangerous if depicted in one's own life. We see a tragedy in a movie, in a serial. We read a tragedy in a novel. It's all right. We are not affected. But so that's why he says, tragedy is beautiful when depicted on the stage. It is dangerous if depicted in one's own life. What you see as tragedy must purge you of the evil so that you become free from tragic situations. They call this theory. You see a tragedy, you develop a catharsis, a mental purgatory you get by seeing a tragedy. When it is hoped that you don't commit the tragedy again. But unfortunately, people see a tragedy and reenact it in one's own life. That is the bigger tragedy. That tragedy should not be. In many of world's literature, this human tragedy, which takes place everywhere, every day, has been depicted. From desire I stumble to possession, possession languish from desire. This is the broken state of man. Can any philosophy help me not to get into this tragic situation? That is the philosophy that the Gita presents. Not to a sect or creed or a nation, but to humanity at large. Totality of life must prove to be a success. That needs the guidance from a scientific philosophy of life. Two pictures we must keep before ourselves. Do I want my life to be destroyed? Do I want to suffer shipwreck in life? Or do I want to ride high this life with joy and peace? That is my question to myself. I must find the answer. This is how the Gita initiates the struggle for a higher life in every individual, giving hints and suggestions how we can be successful, but asking the person to do it oneself. Nobody else can do it for you. There is no proxy that can do it for you. In Vivek Chudamani he says, Rinamojana Kartaram Pitushanti Shutadayaha Bandhamojana Kartatu. If a father has debts, a son or others can clear them on his behalf. But if the father is in bondage, none other than oneself can remove that bondage. If there is a heavy load on my head, Mastakanyastaphat, somebody can come and remove it from my head and release me. But if one is hungry, one must eat for oneself, not someone else. Therefore, Vastuswarupam Spudabodha Chakshusha Svaneva Vedyam Natu Pandidena Chandraswarupam Nija Chakshujeva Nyadavyamanye Ravagamyametum. The nature of truth, Vastuswarupam, is a very rich technical word in Vedanta. Any existing thing is called Vastu. The table is a Vastu. Similarly, Atman is Brahman is a Vastu. They are all existing realities. One is sensory, the other is supersensory. How do you know Vastuswarupam? You must realize it for yourself by developing the clear eye of reason, Bodha Chakshu. Sputabodha Chakshu. The eye of understanding, the eye of reason. Sputa means clear. Svaneva Vedyam must be known by oneself, Natu Pandidena, not by a scholar on your behalf. Then comes the example. Chandraswarupam, the beautiful form of the full moon. You must see with your own eyes. How can somebody else see it on your behalf? This is the constant stress in Vedanta. Developing awareness in ourselves. That is the way of spiritual development and fulfillment. Gita is the science and technique of that human development. From creatureliness to freedom. From creatureliness to blessedness. And then so he concludes, he can't say conclude, Tasmadasya Mahabaho Nigrihitani Sarvashaha Indriyan Indriyartebhya Tasya Prajna Pradishtitaha. This is included in that 18 slokas, Siddha Prajna. Tasma, therefore, whose sense organs have been brought perfectly under control from all sides, to be a citizen of a free country, you need a measure of self-discipline. Without that, there cannot be citizenship at all. And ethical values, all higher values, come from this discipline of the sensory energy system. The sense organs and the sense objects have an affinity for each other. But I am here to see that they don't do what they want to do. I want them to do what I want them to do. That truth will be presented again in the 3rd chapter in a little more detail. Tasya prajna pradishtita. That person's prajna is steady. So we are talking about attachment, no? So now it is becoming clearer and clearer that unless we have the control of the sense organs, which is running toward the sense objects, how to do that? So we have to get inspired by a higher ideal. That is very important. Only by shifting to a higher ideal, we will be able to free ourselves from it. So Papa Mataji here says, you concentrate on Ram Nam. Through Ram Nam, you get concentrated on the indwelling and all-pervading reality. You are chanting the name of one who is within you, who is making you to chant. We have shared this, but again for the sake of people who have not heard this, many years ago, it must be 10 or 15 years ago, one teacher came here, a retired teacher, I forgot his name. Later on, we went to his place, South Kerala. All his doors in the house are open, 24 hours. Anybody can go, take whatever they want, then go. Everything for everybody, Practically we have seen. And the other one also we have shared. His eldest, I think one daughter, his Mrs. passed away. So she told him, we want a vegetable cutting knife. So he went to the market, bought it, and while giving, however much we translate into English, it will lose its originality. Malayalam, it is beautifully said. He hands it over to his daughter and says, when somebody comes and asks whether you have got a knife, undallo kondu pogame, oh, it is here, why don't you can take it always. So even while adding one possession to us, complete detachment it is not for my exclusive use. And even if somebody comes and takes what you are using it, you don't feel that he has taken it because you are not attached to it. Just imagine, none of us will be able to keep our door open. Nice to hear. Pankajasha Guru, correct. Pankajasha Guru. We went there. He came here, 2 days he stayed with us. Then he wanted us to go to his place. We spent about 2 or 3 days with him in Alappuzha. Morning 6 o'clock we will start. And every half an hour there will be a cluster meeting. People will come to him, see him. And he will only be talking about this Manava Maitri, the fraternity, friendship, purest form of love. Everybody will come. People, housewives, they will be working in the kitchen, they will leave everything. Masha has come, so they will come. And we have 30, 40 people. He will ask me to share one anecdote. Then there will be a Manava Maitri Dhyan. Under the that itself is wonderful journey. He will say, let us all close our eyes and bring before us each and everything. When you see the brush and the paste, you remember the person who conceived it, who made it possible to exist, who has manufactured it, who has brought it to the shop, who made you to go there, who gave you money, and then you buy it, and it is there. So many people, I am indebted to all. Like that, he will start. My paperman, my milkman, like that. My gas person, everyone is identified religiously. Simple way, highest philosophy in a simplest way. Instead of seeing him as a milkman, instead of seeing him as a paper boy, we are trying to see something more than that. A person with a broad outlook, where there is no otherness. Because there is no otherness, total detachment, not attached to anything. Yes. And we should be thankful to God. He makes us to get in touch with them. He makes us to observe them. And through Gita now He is making us to again dwell upon it, so that something of 1% of what they are living, we may be able to bring it in our life. Kindly think about it. It's a wonderful subject, attachment. If somebody can exclusively sit for a couple of days and find out which are the chapters which throw light on this, it will be a wonderful thing. If Papa wills, we have to withdraw ourselves for a couple of days exclusively. Then we have to note down, now that the science and technology is helping us, especially those who are having laptop or computer, and now books are available. Suppose we give that and the search, umpty number of instances it is quoted, write down the page, go to the library or go to the Gita book, read it. If there is appealing to us, note down. So then we will come to know that Gita is, then we will come to know why Gandhiji named Gita, the whole thing, as Anasakti Yoga. Because he found that emphasis is given more and more for detachment. Because attachment is the one which gives the fuel to this me and mine. Basic fuel for me and mine is attachment. And attachment is the cause for all our problems. So to dwell upon it more and more, it will definitely help us. Because we are not going to give any provision anywhere. We are not going to do anything, but it will definitely help, because our intention is not to qualify ourselves academically. Our intention is to know where we are. And our intention is to remember those who hold on to this anasakti, they come before our mental vision to strengthen our commitment towards detachment. And write down. Again filter it down, then we can bring it about, say, from one or two slokas from each chapter, and then we can have attachment in Gita, just like we said peace eternal in Gita. We can make a rosary out of it with 18 beads on attachment. but somebody may kindly come forward and do it. In each chapter, suppose you give, we can make a trial. We don't get time here, but still we will also try. Anything more? In the 70th same stanza, Apuryamanam Ajala Pradishtam Samudramava Pravishanti Yadvad Tadvat Kamayam Pravishanti Sarve Sashanti Mapnoti Nakamakami. Beautiful. Finally he closes that, no? As into the ocean, brimful and still, flow the floodwaters of various rivers without agitating the ocean. Even so is the Muni, into whom enter all desires. He or she attains to peace and not desirer of the desires. A person who runs after various desires and sensory cravings, that is one type. Another person is one into whom so many cravings are going, but they do not make any disturbance inside. Because we are in the midst of so many things. We can't avoid, we can't close our eyes. One's desires, others' desires, all enter into that person, creating no agitation at all. What is the nature of the mind? It is like a big ocean. Apuryamanam Ajala Pradishtam Samudram. Samudra, the ocean, it is full to the brim, unshaken like a mountain. Apaha Pravishanti, enters waters, and Tadvat, similarly, Kamayam Pravishanti Sarve, into whom enters all desires without agitating the person. Sashanti Mapnoti Nakamakami. He or she attains peace, not the desirer of the desires. So not that we have to run away. We have to run away from the field. We cannot run away. Even though physically we may run away, the mind will be craving, Bodhichitta is a wonderful. Anything and everything can enter there without disturbing the peace of the chitta. So this shloka refers to that human being who has established a tremendous strength and stability within oneself, and all these various attractions around do not make any difference to him or her. The person is absolutely calm and steady, not agitated like an immense lake, as expressed by Shankaracharya in Kathopanishad. So this particular sloka refers to that fullness one has achieved. And he concludes, Vihaya kāmān ya sarvān puṁsaḥ nispṛha nirmamo nirahankara sashantim adhigacchati. That person who lives devoid of sensual longing, free from all desires, without the sense of I and mine, he or she attains peace. The second chapter ends with these slokas. I and mine makes for the craving. If I feel my oneness with you, my craving to that extent becomes less. I then want to satisfy your craving. That is why in a healthy society we will have a disciplined type of mind. I don't want to get everything at the cost of others. I will work for others also. Then morality comes, ethic comes, sashantim adhigacchati. He or she attains peace. So now see how, by prompting one devotee to say something about attachment. All these things are there in Bhagavad Gita, but it gets unfolded. And not only unfolded at the superficial level, he also guides us to that particular slokas, which matters much to us. So now we pray to him to free us from attachment to anything. Because we have put us in this universe, world, we have to have minimum possessions. But let me not be a slave to my possessions. Please enable me to rise above the possession, rise above the possessiveness, rise above the attachment to sense objects. I need sense objects to exist, but let them not overpower me. I need good food. I want to hear good music. I want to touch soft things. I want to smell fragrance. Everything is there. I cannot stop it. But let them not overpower me. Whenever it crosses the Lakshman Rekha, kindly pull me up. Because I know if I don't live within the bounds, I will fall down. Falling down means going away from you. So this prayer also, let it well up in our heart. Let us do more and more research on this word attachment. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. 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 Hari Om, Hari Om. Hari. Pranam, Pranam, Pranam. Hari Om. Hari Om.